How's it going today, everybody? Eddie Kernan for Rexylab. Welcome to the Guitarmery. This time, Harley Benton, the second coming of Jesus Christ, or flaming hunk of shit. Let's find out today, shall we? First thing I want everybody to know is that not only is this not my instrument, but this baritone guitar is actually for sale right now at a local guitar store. And if it is still for sale, that contact information will be available in the description. So before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that before I had a YouTube channel, I have had my hands on 3 different Harley Bentons. 2 of them, it would have been a mercy killing if they were destroyed by fire. 1 of them was actually amazingly good. And for the amount of money that it costs, it was one hell of a value. So let's dig into this Classic Series baritone guitar, and we're just going to take a look at the construction, and I will plug it in and let you see how it sounds at the end of the video. Let's start tearing crap apart. Moment of truth number 1. It's time to pull this neck off. We got this cutesy wootsy little shim in there, and it really was just kind of sitting there. That's so thin, I highly doubt it does anything. One thing I can tell you right off the bat is that this thing has fret sprout for days, man. This is like a bread knife. Because the store that loaned this to me was being so cool, I told them that I would take care of that for them. Those tuning machines are pretty cool looking in that black. They gotta be fake Clousons. There's no way in the world these are real Clousons at this price point. There's a lot of loosey-goosey stuff going on here. First I thought it was internal. You know what? It can be internal as well as loose. Yeah, I'll tighten all that down for him too. All the black stuff makes this thing look super cool. I mean, we've got black screws. We even have black neck screws. They're definitely going after, you know, the whole aesthetic thing here. But here's the thing. Everything, even if it's ridiculously inexpensive, costs money. So the more they put into making something look cool, the less they're putting into it somewhere else. However, Harley Benton is Tallman. Tallman has like just stupid buying power, so there could be a lot of great stuff in here. Let's get into the pickguard and take a look and see what's going on in here and why this switch only works in one position. First and foremost, I just want to get a look at the jack here. I'm willing to bet that this is going to be like the cheapest, crappiest jack that they can possibly get their hands on, which isn't really that big of a deal because it's what everybody uses. Let's find out. Yep. That is the cheapest, crappiest jack that you can possibly get. If there's any one thing that I would recommend changing on this right away, it would be that jack. Now that's interesting. Okay, we got wood flaking off here. But this is really interesting. The next thing I want to point out here is that this switch is loose enough to where I can spin it around with my fingers. And there's a good chance that this thing turning around has just broken off a wire or two. So let's take a look inside. Just like the jack is the cheapest of the cheap, I'm willing to bet that this stuff is also the cheapest of the cheap. Let's find out. So yeah, those are stupidly cheap pots, stupidly cheap capacitor, stupidly cheap 3-way switch. That right there is really, really weird. I don't know why they left that there. It looks like it should work. I mean, it truly does. So why isn't it, is what the question is. We'll just go straight to this output jack. We'll throw it to 20K. 9.49. 4.71. 9.17. What? Now all of a sudden it's working? Well, that's weird. Since I have it apart, let's get a little look. What could have been happening? Absolutely no idea. You know what though? What I can do is tighten up this switch for them. It's really weird. Apparently something was just grounding out down there. This is black in here. I wonder if it's just paint or if it's shielding paint. That's just paint. Seeing that this thing somehow magically healed itself, once again, it was probably twisted around, something was grounding out somewhere, who knows. Everything in here, it's pretty much what I expected looking on the Harley Benton website. It says that these are two Alnico P90 pickups, but Alnico what? 5, 2, 8? At this price point, it really doesn't matter. This bridge looks like it's fine. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. It looks kind of like a hip shot knockoff. If you're going to copy something, copying hip shot's a pretty good place to start. So we can see by looking at this wood that this body, it looks even cheaper than basswood, and it is. It's poplar. If you're somebody who is worried about tone woods, you're probably not looking at a Harley Benton. The ferrules are good. Other than, you know, a little bit of trash left in the cavity, this is really pretty good for a sub $200 guitar. Each one of these screws on these tuners was loose. I've tightened them all up. They behave the way I would expect a Kluson knockoff to behave, you know. I mean, once again, if you put all your money into it looking pretty, well, then you have way less of a budget for it to be functional. But these appear to be all right. Let's see. Yeah, they seem to all turn nice in either direction. That's cool. So there's glue sticking out right there. I would expect better. Doesn't look like it'd take a lot to make it go away. I don't know if you can see it through the camera or through the YouTube or through your smartphone or whatever you're watching this on, but there's a lot of tooling marks here that should have been cleaned up. Should have been taken off. They claim this fretboard is Purple Heart. It's the least purple looking Purple Heart I've ever seen, but then again, you know, not all ebony is dark black, so could be. Other than just the tooling marks and the fret sprout, it looks pretty good. The glue residue underneath this one position marker is the only one I noticed it on. Minimal action, and it took that pretty much completely off. There's a dual action truss rod in here, and when I went to check it out, sure enough, it started getting loose and then it started getting tight. So I went the opposite way and it started getting loose and it started getting tight, which is a sure sign that's dual action truss rod. So that is exceptionally cool. Taking care of the fret sprout, now it's really, really nice. While doing that, I noticed that there's a bunch of gunk left in between the frets and the fretboard. That's just got to be because they didn't take the time to clean it up. But of course they didn't, because we've still got all these tooling marks. Like I said, sub $200 instrument, man. I mean, the deeper I go into this thing, the more I like it. It's actually really pretty good. It's not bad. Well, it's all put together now. Fret sprouts taken care of, things like that. Could use a good fretboard cleaning, could use a good fret polishing, could use some shielding. But you know what? I mean, dude, what do you want for under 200 bucks? Honest to God, this thing is a deal. And I went in really not biased one way or another, but I was not expecting to be impressed. I want to make it very clear right now. The only reason I'm impressed is because these things are so damn cheap. This is something that I would expect to cost twice as much. And so I suspect that soon they will. I did say that I was going to give you a little play test, so let's try that. And we're doing something new today. I'm hoping that it's going to sound good. We'll see. Fun stuff. Let's see if we can come up with something that's a little bit more stoner rock, because that is sort of what this thing is aimed at. Well, that was fun. It was actually a lot more fun than I expected this thing to be. Maybe it is the second coming of Jesus. I mean, holy crap. Now, it did need a little help to get a little resurrection, but that just kind of brings the Jesus thing around just that little bit more. Once again, what do you want for under $200 new? All that being said, this thing says $200 new on their website, but it also says out of stock. And that's why there are a lot of people that have sold these things on Reverb for like more than double that. Is it worth more than double that? Well, that's between you and your bank account. You know what? I dig this thing. It's really cool. So that'll do it. Until next time, everybody, this has been Eddie Kernan for Rexylab, putting my 2 cents in on the hippest new trend. One guitar at a time.